Peddler Polly Good spot here and sold there.
That was well signed on Peddler Polly's cart as it was pulled up Main Street. Peddler Polly looked around and smiled.
I'm so glad to be back in Taletown. Imagine a town where everyone tells stories.
Peddler Polly parked at the town square. Over on Town Hall, she saw a notice.
Story swap today. Bring a story if you still know one.
If you still know one.
Hello, Peddler Polly. Good.
Came a sad little girl's voice.
Whoa, it's my old friend Penny. Do you have a good story for me? I'll gladly trade for something from my card.
Penny sobbed and sniffed.
I don't have any stories at all. Holly and Taletown does. We are losing our stories.
Losing your stories? Whatever do you mean?
We thought to tell a story, and then it's gone. We can't remember it anymore. Come to the story swap this afternoon and see.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Another cart had parked on the square. Its sign said,
Dr. Sebastian Spellbinder, Entertainment Paraphernalia.
In the cart stood a man with a top coat, top hat, and goatee, surrounded by piles of wooden boxes.
A crowd was gathering before him.
You've heard of a storyteller, and you've heard of a story book. Well, I'm here to show you something finer still. The brand new Pet and Spellbinder story box.
Oh, Peddler Polly. He sells stories.
Dr. Spellbinder held up one of the wooden boxes, showing a pint of glass on one side.
He flipped the switch and the glass came to life. Tiny characters moved across the pane and tiny voices came out.
Someone in the crowd yelled,
It's Cinderella. Dr. Spellbinder turned a knob, and a different moving picture appeared.
That's Puss in Boots.
Michelle.
He turned the knob again.
And that's Sleeping Beauty.
Never again will you have to ask for a story. And never again will you have to imagine the pictures. Who'll be the first to buy a Spellbinder story box?
I'll take one.
So will I.
I'll take 2.
Before long, Dr. Spellbinder's cart was empty. The downstairs was covered with children and grown-ups, all staring bleakly at the little boxes.
I don't like the looks of this.
When Peddler Polly arrived at the story swap that afternoon, town hall was packed. The room was buzzing with talk about stories, lost stories, and Spellbinder story boxes.
Finally, Mayor Bob Bigwig took a stage. He glanced nervously around him.
Welcome to the story shop. I'd ask my honor to tell the first story, The Bird Bubble of Line.
From her seat by an open window, Peddler Polly heard a soft whir and a whoop noise.
Wolf on the den of Hamlin was by Saint. Oh, it would have been a night for the
mayor turned pale.
I watched my story.
And he ran from the stage. A horrified murmur rose in the room.
Milton Marbles, the school teacher, tried next.
My daughter is Zach and the beanstalk.
Michelle?
Again, Peddler Polly heard the whir and the whoop sucking.
There was once a burrito who had an old named owner.
He fled the stage in tears.
Next came Penny.
This is the Smith of packages.
Peddler Polly heard the noises once more.
Whoop! Whir, whoop!
Marianne, a long time ago.
A long time ago in Greece, there was a horse called Pachygus. This horse was special because
The swap. We can't afford to lose any more stories. It's the end of story that and the old done.
As excited talk filled the room, Peddler Polly thought she heard a cackle out the window.
She looked and saw a man with a top coat and a top hat hurry away from the building. He carried a large wooden box covered with switches, knobs, and dials. Below held a sash to it.
It's Dr. Spellbinder. I better look into this.
Peddler Polly hastened from the hall. She followed Dr. Spellbinder from distance as he left the town and made his way into the hills.
At last, Dr. Spellbinder disappeared through the mouth of the cave. Peddler Polly followed him and stopped in astonishment. The huge cave was filled with many contraptions, all of them noisily pulling or pushing or pulsing or pounding.
Dr. Spellbinder stood at the workbench covered with story boxes. Covered with story boxes and other strange devices. He sat down the big box he was carrying and petted it fondly.
Three more stories to put in my story boxes. And all thanks to my brilliant invention. The Spellbinder story sucker. Soon, I'll steal all the stories in the world. Then everyone will need a story box. And I'll be rich.
Not if I can help it.
Peddler Polly, what are you doing here?
Put an end to your evil plans, Spellbinder.
You'll never stop me, Peddler Polly.
Then Dr. Spellbinder grabbed the story sucker and ran from the cave.
Down the hill sped Dr. Spellbinder, while Peddler Polly puffed in pursuit. Without the story sucker, Peddler Polly was faster.
You won't catch me easily.
Megan?
He lifted the lid on the story sucker and reached in.
See how you like this story, Peddler Polly?
Michelle?
He threw something behind him. There was a flash of light, and out of nowhere, a huge crowd of children appeared, coming up toward Peddler Polly. They were led by a man in a many-colored coat, in many-colored costume, playing on a pipe.
Molly?
Well, I'll be.
Peddler Polly pushed past the surprised man and pressed through the crowd of mesmerized children.
It's a catchy tune, kids, but I wouldn't follow a Pied Piper.
Dr. Spellbinder was far ahead, but Peddler Polly ran hard and gained on him.
One good story deserves an other.
And he reached into the story sucker. Another flash, and Peddler Polly saw a boy chopping down a gigantic beanstalk. But just then, the boy took to his heels, calling,
Heads up!
Peddler Polly looked up and stopped just in time. A huge man tumbled from the sky and landed with an earth-shaking crash just before her.
Molly?
Didn't know stories could be so dangerous.
Peddler Polly ran around the giant while she waved to the boy and called,
Thank you, Jack.
Dr. Spellbinder had vanished behind a hill, and Peddler Polly panted after him. As she rounded the bend, she gasped.
Tied to a landing platform was a lighter than air balloon, and Dr. Spellbinder was climbing into the basket.
Oh no! Now he's getting away! For sure. Unless.
It's all over now, Peddler Polly.
Michelle? Dr. Spellbinder on time.
Spellbinder untied the rope and the balloon floated into the air.
But I still have one more story, and it might as well keep you busy.
If it's the one I think it is,
Dr. Spellbinder threw it to the ground. Another flash, and they stood a horse with flying graceful wings.
Pegasus.
Peddler Polly ran and leaped onto the horse and dug in her heels.
The horse flapped its wings smoothly and rose in the air. Up and up it spiraled until it was flying circles around the dismayed Dr. Spellbinder.
Yes, you forgot my allergies, Spellbinder. Didn't you know Pegasus?
Peddler Polly rode in close,
Flying horse.
Spellbinder, and flung him across the horse's back.
My story, sucker!
Right. Dr. Spellbinder, as the balloon floated away with his evasion.
I don't guess you need it. Where are you going? For a crime, starting up stories, a judge is sure to set you up unhappily ever after.
A few weeks later, when all of Dr. Spellbinder's story boxes had been opened and the stories returned to their tellers, the people of Taletown held a big storytelling festival on the town square, Mayor Bigwig announced.
And a special guest for the day, Peddler Polly.
Wow, thanks. And now, I'll tell a story called Peddler Polly and the Story Stealer.
And that's a tale.
They always tell.
And Taletown.